Zach, don't worry. We're not doing any spoilers. You have nothing to worry about.
Oh. Okay, good. Okay, we're not going to talk about the Endgame spoilers that leaked on the internet. I want to say that up top. If you're worried, don't be. We're not doing it. Instead, we're going to talk about rumors about Thor 4 that Tessa Thompson is throwing out into the internet, plus She-Hulk series, Be Still My Beating Heart. Spider-Man moves its release date up, and so much more today on Marvel Movie News.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Oh, good afternoon to you all, merry Marvelites. This is the Marvel Movie News coming to you live from the spoiler-free zone.
I'm glad.
And I'm going to say this one time. If you put
Oh my gosh. I'm
going to say this up top before we do introductions or anything. There were in-game spoilers that leaked on the internet. We're not even talking about trailers or TV spots that came out because we're so close, guys. We are 1 week away from Endgame. And I will not have it spoiled for me, not for my co-hosts, not for you at home. If you are in the chat, if you put those spoilers, I don't even know what they are.
You know how hard it was for me not to watch those?
Oh, because you love spoilers.
I need to know.
Look,
I want to know.
If you wanted to know, I'm not going to shame you. But if you share those things with people who don't want to see it, then you deserve to be thrown in the darkest, dankest pit of the internet. I shame you. I shame you so bad. So if you do it, you will get banned from the chat permanently. I have that power to do that. I have the ban hammer.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
And I'm not kidding around. Anyway. But let's talk about fun things now that extreme warning is out of the way. We're so close, you guys. We're so close to Endgame. I'm so excited.
I know.
I know. I'm really afraid to monitor the chat now. You just put that in my head now. Like, wait a minute. People might blurt out spoilers.
No, I love our fans. Our fans are good.
Yeah.
I trust them.
You guys are good
I just want to say
You're
that.
good and pure.
Let's talk about the Marvel Movie News for this week. Who are we? Yelling at you really starting this podcast. I'm Zach Wilson. We've got Zia Anderson over here.
Hey, guys.
And Christian Blatt.
Howdy.
I didn't get any suggestions over the week about who you guys should be named for in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
I kind of started thinking, honestly, I think Zia might be Spider-Gwen.
I'm into it. I'll
You
take
got the
it.
blonde going
Very
on.
nice.
So that's where I'm kind of leaning. You could also be Magic if you're an XMen fan. Then again,
That's
we got
Colossus's little sister. Yeah.
Yeah. But I still want the chat to figure it out. So please email it to our email address, Doom's Question Corner, with your suggestions, or just tweet it at us. Granted, if you use any characters that are in Endgame, I might not see it because I blocked a lot of terms on Twitter. One more announcement before we dive into the show.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow, we teased this a couple weeks ago, but we took a little while to figure out the logistics. Tomorrow at noon, we are going to do a watch-along, the three of us. We're going to watch Infinity War together, along with you at home. We're going to be doing it on YouTube, and then, so basically the idea is you come with your copy, wherever you're comfortable, queue it up. We're going to all hit play at the same time and watch Infinity War together. Obviously, we can't stream the movie, but it's on Netflix, and and you can buy it on many other platforms. So however you want access to it, join us tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time. I don't know if it's standard or daylight, whatever. Noon Pacific Time, and we are going to watch through Infinity War in anticipation of next week's Endgame release.
It'll be my second time rewatching it in the past month. I'm so excited.
It'll be my first time seeing it overall. No, just kidding.
I
haven't rewatched it in a long time, actually.
This morning finished my watch of all the other movies,
Oh, nice.
including Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Wow.
Since the bulk of that movie takes place technically before Infinity War, except for that one end credit scene.
Right.
I watched all of them again, finished them now. I did a weird timeline order. Which was kind of cool.
Instead of release order.
Yeah, instead of release order. So
that's what I want to do.
It goes like Civil War, then you watch Black Panther because Black Panther happens right after Civil War, and then Homecoming because Spider-Man picks up right after Civil War.
Right.
And then from there, you watch Doctor Strange. And since Doctor Strange bleeds into Thor Ragnarok with that scene, you pick up with Thor. And then Infinity War after that. Well, I squeezed in Ant-Man and the Wasp in there. Anyway.
And yes, chat, it's 3 o'clock Eastern. I think that if you live in a time zone, you should know which time zone that is. If it's going to be noon Pacific time, you figure out what time it is where you are.
Yeah,
because,
use Google. Google's your friend.
Because there are places that don't do daylight saving. So like Arizona, I don't even know. Is it going to be noon? Is it going to be 1? I don't even know. So you know what time it is. We can't tell you.
Check where it's going to be on youtube.com/popcorn talk. Wait, it's
The popcorn.
Popcorn Talk. Gotta get it right. All right. Let's talk about news this week, guys. Join us tomorrow for Infinity War. The first big one, and this one was like, I was so surprised. It immediately jumped to the top of the headlines for this week that according to Tessa Thompson, a.k.a. Valkyrie, there is a pitch floating around for Thor 4. There are no details on what it is. What she said was, I heard that a pitch has happened for another Thor film. I don't know how real that intel is, but I hear that a pitch has happened. I think the idea is Taika would come back.
That'd be so great.
So a true sequel to Ragnarok is what she's sort of implying. This, of course, assumes that Thor makes it out.
That's what I was just thinking.
But here, so literally that's all the news. Like she said that there's a pitch being floated around. She's probably heard people like brainstorming, like throwing ideas out.
Yeah.
A pitch is the most rough idea of a movie. It like no guarantee that it could happen at that stage. But if Thor Odin's son doesn't make it out of Endgame, I want him to. I want him to only because Chris Hemsworth, I feel like, only just came into his own with that character with Ragnarok, and I want him to have more time to play with that with the more comedic take on that. But if he bites the dust, what I think there's still an amazing Thor 4 to happen there. When a new Thor shows up and we don't know who it is, and we do the Jane Foster Thor plotline. I mean, whether you do it with Jane Foster, you don't think the MCU is ready for that?
I'm not ready.
Oh, you're not.
I don't know about the MCU,
but I mean, I don't think it would be Natalie Portman. But there's other Thors we could get. I'd tune in for Beta Ray Bill. I'd like to see him.
Beta Ray Bill he's already technically established, or at least one of his people is established. But so in Ragnarok you had like the former champions on the building, and you did have I can't remember what Beta Ray Bill's people are called, but
same here. But I remember. But
at least one of his people was a champion. He did have the wings, so it was implied that it was Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can't bring him in when they he freed Sakaar or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, you could do Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill could be a great Thor story. But I enjoyed the Jane Foster Thor run so much, and I think the mystery about it could be a lot of fun to do on the big screen. That's why I jump immediately to there, because the fun of, if you're not going to have Chris Hemsworth, the fun of who is this new person on the scene, and like playing up that question of like identity and like what is it to be someone, to be a hero, and to like Jane Foster Thor it's complicated because in the MCU Thor is not a title, it's a person.
It's a person, right?
Which the comics eventually got there, even though it wasn't originally.
Okay.
But I don't know. I just think it'd be fun. I think it'd be an interesting, different take. Then again, Mjolnir is destroyed, so how do you do that? Lots of questions.
Lots of questions.
But the point is, a Thor 4 is in the ether. And, of course, Tessa Thompson, Valkyrie could also just pick up the hammer.
That's what I was going to say. And Gamer Girl puts out the idea she'd like to see Lady Sif as the next Thor. I think that Jamie Alexander's still got that network TV show, though. So
Hashtag cancel blind spot.
Exactly. Started here, started now.
My critters know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's I would love to see Lady Sif back. I think that her her missing from Ragnarok was one of the most glaring problems with that.
They didn't address it, so you just get nothing.
Yeah, that was the only unfortunate thing. It was like we spent all this time building up Lady Sif, and granted, Ragnarok sort of was like, yeah, forget those first two. They were lore building. They exist in the canon, but we're not worried about plot lines that necessarily, other than Loki. I would love to see Lady Sif come back. Anyway. Let's move on and keep going through this news. Unless you guys have other thoughts on Thor 4.
That's, I think that this is the first a lot of people are hearing about Thor 4. But again, as Zach said at the top, it's just out there mentioned as a
one
pitch.
actress heard rumors about a pitch. We're way away from that point.
And even people who like the Blind Spot TV show are saying #cancel Blind Spot. So
Okay.
yeah.
Spider-Man, Far From Home.
I'm familiar with
We're
it.
only a few months out, and we're actually closer than you thought to seeing that movie on the big screen.
That's intriguing. Tell me
at
more.
least us in North America. For the
Yeah.
North
Sorry,
American
rest of you guys.
release of Spider-Man has officially moved up by 3 days.
Woohoo!
3 days. It was set to debut on Friday, July 5th. Which was a surprising release date when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because of exactly the reasons that they moved it. It is going up to July 2nd, which is a Tuesday, and it's going up there for North America specifically because Thursday is 4th of July. And you want that movie in the theaters all day 4th of July.
Yes. And does that mean on July 1st there's going to be 7 p.m. showings? Because I just need to plan how early I can see this movie.
I don't know yet if they might mean Tuesday,
Right.
as in that's when you get the 7 p.m.
right.
screenings
That's what I
and
thought.
stuff. But that's the thing with quote unquote release dates now. The midnight screenings became so popular. So many people want to see it Thursday night. They're like, just put it out on Thursday. Eventually they'll just be like, yeah, here's a 10 a.m. screening on Thursday.
Can't wait for that.
But it doesn't debut until tomorrow.
Right.
And you're like, okay, but I've seen it 3 times.
Yeah. It started with, midnight, and then it was, 9 p.m. because it's midnight on the East Coast, and then it was screw it, just put it out at a
Sometimes
normal
they're
hour.
at 6 now. They keep going, further and
That's
further
what I'm
back.
saying.
Yeah,
They keep
so-
pushing it and pushing and pushing it.
The earlier
Eventually,
the better. I agree with Zach. I want the 10 a.m. on Thursday showing.
it's just pointless.
So
that
by
it's-
the time it comes out, you have seen it 3 times.
Yeah. There are people that do that. Anyway.
It's like when a Broadway show's in previews. It's like, well, you're going to see it on the preview day. Then the official opening is on Friday.
Yeah.
What is the difference?
I don't know. The money counts the same. That's all they
It,
care about.
I don't understand.
So sometimes it's awards of eligibility.
Yeah.
They don't judge you based on preview screenings. They only judge you based on once you open kind of thing.
So if you mess up in preview screenings, it's fine.
Well,
Nobody talks
the
about
other
it.
thing with preview screens, sometimes they will change things.
Gotcha.
Like Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark was in previews for a while, and they completely rewrote that show.
Wow.
They stretched the previews a lot, actually.
Yeah,
showed
and
a
then
lot,
they
yeah.
literally rewrote more than half of that show. I had so much fun when I saw that show, you guys.
And that's on Broadway?
It was,
It was on
It
Broadway?
was.
Past
It was.
tense, yeah. I never did get
Sad
to
I
see it,
missed
but
it.
I got to see it. It was a train wreck. That's the thing. It was one of those things that's this is so terrible, but I'm having so much fun with it. That said, Broadway tickets are way too expensive for so bad it's good.
that's a great point.
So that's that's the thing. It's you can't have so bad it's good when the tickets are $100 a piece. Even when I got them discounted, it was still
crazy.
$50 a piece. Anyway, new casting for Eternals
Whoop, whoop.
is again, we just keep adding new people to this part, and it is quickly becoming the most diverse looking cast so far in a Marvel film. As Chloe Zhao, the director, has added, I'm gonna butcher this, Ma Dong-seok.
I think that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
I'm gonna give you a
trying,
B plus on
guys.
that. I actually don't know how to say
I have
it.
no idea.
He's South Korean, and I don't speak Korean. But you may have seen him previously in Train to Busan is what a lot of people, it's a zombie thriller that I know. I haven't seen it, but a lot of
seen it
my
either.
friends are big fans.
I think I'm gonna have to watch it before Eternals comes out just to get a feel of this guy, just so I'm slightly more familiar with his work.
Yeah,
I would like to.
We have no idea. It's a mystery role, as all of the rumored casting has been. So we will have to see. This is according to the Wrap, of course. This is like all of this casting: Angelina Jolie, Kumail Nanjiani. Like technically, it's all just rumor. None of this has been announced. None of this is official, and we have some official stuff with Disney Plus. That's how you can tell the difference, because now that's official. Even though we've been talking about these things for months, this is rumor. But we don't know what role he could play, and as we talked about with the Eternals, like anytime you cast somebody, there's tons of possibilities, and it's possible that you could just make somebody up, frankly, for the Eternals, and I wouldn't bat an eye at it. As long as you capture the feel of the Eternals, I don't need you to be super faithful to like the original comic one. This is a property that I think gives you a lot of flexibility. It gives you chances to bring characters into new directions, even if you just use the name or you just invent a new Eternal for a more minor character. You can just have fun with it. Like, I think if you gave Chloe Zhao the chance to play a lot, you'll have fun. As long as you get this, like, the idea of these ancient beings who have lived through history and, like, have seen all of the Marvel universe play out over millennia, I think we can have a lot of fun with it. You're talking about, like, basically Greek gods.
Yeah.
Give me Herc. Give me Herc.
Right. I think that's something that we've been hoping for here. But I think to your point that, we have no idea who they're playing, and are they even playing existing characters from the Eternals?
Are they even the Eternals? Or are
they
other supporting? Yeah,
right, exactly.
Are they supporting characters?
Yeah, and there's also the case of like it could be a character that popped into like 2 comics. And you take them and like create something crazy and fun. I think like to adjust my statement before, they will be characters that you at least can name from the comics. Yeah. The question is they don't necessarily have to stick to the major ones. The same way that like for better or worse, Doctor Strange used Caecilius as a major villain. That character had been in like 2 panels previous to being on film. But they still took it and ran with it, and that gives you that, like, I think to a lesser extent, to more or less, but it gives you opportunity to bring it into any direction you want without fans feeling like there's not the character that I liked.
Which is exactly what Zach said when he saw the movie. He can text in that intonation in his voice.
Oh yeah. More so Tyrese Gibson, we talked about, had been cast in Morbius, the living vampire, and now we know, thanks to some like subtle hashtagging, who he's gonna play. Whether or not the tweet is still up, but or the Instagram post rather, right. But he's not in trouble, I guess. He hashtagged Agent Stroud on his post, and so I like if this take a look at this photo, it has a cover of there's Tyrese Gibson, and there's a cover where you see Agent Stroud, who's like a CIA agent, I guess, who hunts pretty much only supernatural villains. He hunted like Werewolf by Night, and then he moved on to Morbius the Living Vampire. Yeah. So with Morbius, this like vigilante vampire, this is, I guess, Tyrese Gibson is going to be the agent tasked with stopping him. So in a movie full of like anti-heroes, I guess Tyrese Gibson would be like the anti-villain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the guy who's like trying to do a good thing, and then like I would actually say I think Tyrese Gibson is going to be like the good guy who is like, but he's against what the audience wants because we're supposed to be rooting for Morbius. And then we're going to get Matt Smith, who's going to be real evil.
You think he's going to be real evil?
Oh, I think Matt Smith's going to be evil. I think he's still mad that he didn't get to be the big evil Skynet incarnation in Terminator, and he's like, give me a bad guy to play, please. And I would love to see him play against type like that.
I mean, yeah, it would be very, very interesting. Didn't he play not an evil character, but not the best character in The Crown, which I've never seen, but I got that impression. I mean,
he's playing the king, and kings are never like kings are never like the nicest people.
I'm so curious to see.
I mean, I think that T'Challa would disagree, but I do know what you're trying to say. That, yes,
it is hard for a good man to be king, and thus a real life king. Yes. Hard for him to be a good man. I think T'Challa would actually agree with me on that.
I think he would.
I think he'd be like, yeah, I messed up a lot.
If he weren't a pile of dust right now, he would definitely.
Too soon.
What?
Wow.
It's been a year. It's fine.
Not too soon
fine.
at all. If anything, it's like, yeah, get it out now while you can. 1 week, guys. 1 week. I'm just gonna keep saying it because I can't believe it. 1 week.
I know, and it's gonna go by so slowly.
As we were talking about rumors and like these pitch things and not taking them too seriously, one that was from forever ago that I had forgotten was even up there in the air is confirmed dead. The War Machine solo film, according to Don Cheadle, is not being developed any longer. Quote, no, we kicked it around a bit. So like I'm sure they explored it. I'm sure Marvel has looked at all of their characters. From what I understand, what Marvel did for a while is they would hire in writers, a lot of times brand new writers who like they had not had anything produced, and they're like, here's a character, make something, go. Here's like money to live on, write us Black Widow the movie, and we'll see if we want to do something with it. And they just ran with it. And some scripts, like Guardians of the Galaxy, came out of them, and they're like, awesome, let's do this thing. And then they brought in teams and they rewrite it and bring in James Gunn and he does his thing and all that. But it starts with just like getting a script out of somebody. And I think this was probably that thing, is they just were like, yeah, try War Machine, let's see where that goes. And it doesn't really necessarily land the way you want it to, or you're busy. You're like, we're gonna take him and do this thing in Civil War, and so it doesn't fit in canon anymore.
I'm sorry, but or does Don Cheadle just not know because they're going to bring Terrence Howard back? Is that the real reason why that he doesn't know? I'm sorry that I stepped on what you were going to say. Just
No, that's okay. I literally was just going to say I'm not entirely sure that is a story that I would want a movie for. I don't know if I would be completely interested. Not that I don't love War Machine as part of the ensemble. I do. I just maybe don't know where they would go with it. With him on, like, I don't know if I would be as interested to watch him on his own.
Let me pitch you something. Let's go. Disney Plus, a miniseries with Rhodey as War Machine.
Okay, I I can totally get on board with that. Yeah.
But same thing, like I would want to know what the story is.
Yeah, he's
a very hard set military guy, and so here's the only thing is the only way to really challenge him with that is to make him question being in the military,
right?
Which we already kind of did with Civil War. So I think that his main like issue that Rhodey would have to deal with is already dealt with in that sense. Like, yeah, he didn't get the big chunk of drama from there, but if he had a falling out with the U.S. government, it would just feel like Civil War, like the B story.
Right.
Like, it would be like retreading a little bit, but with Rhodey instead of Cap. So not that there aren't good War Machine stories to tell, and there have been plenty of comics where he's gone off on his own, and I like surprise me, Marvel. Like, I'm always open to be surprised. But I think that with the vast realm of characters that you now have at your disposal, I think there's other things that you could do.
Mm-hmm.
We have some people in the chat saying that Don Cheadle would be too old to play an Iron Man, and I just made sure that I was correct. Don Cheadle is 54 years old. Do you know who else is 54 years old? Robert Downey Jr. So he is not too old. That is not the reason to not do it. But also, you can be in the Iron Man suit if you're, if you're Kirk Douglas.
You guys realize that they don't actually have to fly in the War Machine costumes, right? Like it's
wait, what?
What?
It's all in graphics.
No, I thought we said no spoilers today, Zach.
Once the helmet's up, it could be anybody in there.
Mind blown.
Or no
Mind
one. You could do it. You could be 80 and be in a.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You just put the helmet up and you're done.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
But I think we're much more likely to see a Riri Williams story before we would see a Rhodey solo pick.
Yeah, I mean, I like the character of Rhodey. Little known fact that no one asked for is that when I started reading comics, Rhodey was Iron Man because that's when Tony Stark was off with his huge drinking problem. So that was Iron Man to me was Rhodey, and then it's like, well, who's this guy who we see living in the ditch? I'm not interested in him. He's not Iron Man.
All right.
It's a weird thought.
I'm just saying that's what happened.
I
It's
believe you.
It's a very specific moment in time. Yeah.
Continuing to move forward, Fortnite news for all of you Generation Z people in the audience.
Hey.
Generation
Just
Z.
because, yeah, exactly. Just because I'm a millennial doesn't mean that I can't play Fortnite. Don't judge me.
I'm just saying. I think they're called Generation Z. I don't know what they're
I'm not
called.
sure.
That's officially 18 to 21-year-olds is Generation Z.
Does that make me really lame for playing?
That's a really
Fortnite? 'Cause
small
I
generation.
Yeah,
absolutely
it's
do.
like the generation that's right out of high school, maybe in college right now. That's what that's the
no.
official
Generations
ranking that
were
I saw.
10 years.
Yeah,
Anyway,
wow.
whatever. I'm trying to make an old person joke about the young people.
Maybe we should change your nickname to Uncle Ben.
I'm not that good of a person.
I disagree, but that was a good line.
Anyway, Fortnite, the very popular battle royale shooter game, is going to get another Marvel crossover. Looks like after last year's Thanos.
That was fun,
appearance.
by the way. I got the Thanos gauntlet.
Nice.
And it was cool.
Nice. Well, it looks like Thanos is coming back to Fortnite. His name was found in some code for the game about some upcoming releases, so it looks like they're going to tread that special event again.
Very nice.
But is there even more this time? Because Robert Downey Jr. was spotted wearing a Fortnite t-shirt.
Dude, how cool would it be if you could find whatever it is, if whatever they have a drop and you can find something to play each character. You could be Thor, you could be Iron Man, you could be Thanos.
Well, the rumor based on him wearing the t-shirt is that they're going to drop an Iron Man skin.
I want all of the skins. Give me all of them.
All the Iron Mans.
Well, I mean, Thor 2, I want all of them.
Fair.
How cool would it be to be Thor?
Thor 2? You want the Dark World Thor?
Hey, I like
that's
the
her
Dark
favorite.
World.
I don't. Teach his own.
That was the best.
So yeah, Fortnite. Fortnite. Everybody's having fun. I've only played it like once or twice, to be honest. Mainly because like online gaming is like I don't have time to get good at this stuff.
Neither do I, but it's oddly addicting once you start. Oh man.
But let's move in to Marvel TV time.
Marvel movie news. We're talking TV time.
Oh, so much TV news. As one of our headline stories this week, there was a rumor floating around from the podcast We've Got This Covered about a potential She-Hulk show on Disney Plus. There's that. There's some Shield stuff we gotta talk about. It's like the gifted stuff. But the big one I want to talk about is the conspiracy theory that continues to hit Marvel movie news every single week.
It's true.
Literally the minute we went off the air 1 week ago, the minute it started at 2, we went off the show, off the air at 2 o'clock. Disney started their investor meeting. And I didn't know what the investor meeting was going to be. I didn't realize it was going to be all of Disney Plus being unveiled to the world.
Oh my god.
Literally all the announcements at once. It was just, I was tweeting out, just freaking out about some of this stuff. Very exciting. A lot of these shows we knew were coming, but now we have some more specifics to get excited about. The ones that are confirmed on the Marvel side are Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
That
which
looks
we can check out the logo, which is
awesome.
the
I love the
only
logo.
logo that we got of any of these shows. The only piece of media we got for a Marvel show was this Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is giving me super like Lethal Weapon vibes.
Oh my god, yes.
Wow.
Because like we're totally getting a buddy. You guys realize
Yes.
Falcon and the Winter
Yes.
Soldier, and like this only confirms it. It's gonna be a weird buddy cop show.
I'm so in.
It's gonna be fun.
Yes.
I know it's not. I'm not gonna get my Captain's America show, or at least title. But that looks fun. I want to watch that.
Well, considering that Bucky was born, 90 years ago, he's literally getting too old for this, I'll say crap. So it's a very Lethal Weapon vibe we might get.
That's gonna be so much
I know, I can
fun.
totally see him being the serious kind of cranky one.
There was a question that I saw a lot this week as to whether does that mean that Bucky's not going to be Captain America?
I don't think it doesn't mean that.
Yeah, I would actually say this could be a really interesting thing of like Falcon and the Winter Soldier like trying to fill those, like that could be if we lose Steve, a good plot line is them trying to fill his vacancy, trying to fill his shoes. Like, what the world doesn't have Captain America, so as his best buddies, we gotta take up those, like, his mantle, even if they don't take his name. And then maybe at the end of it, one of them has, or it's a competition show.
Oh, I like this.
And it's just an in-universe reality show where it's Sam Wilson versus James Buchanan Barnes
amazing.
fighting in different events every week to earn the title of Captain America. Coming this fall on ABC or Disney Plus, whatever. Anyway, that's my insane thing. Not really happening. But Falcon and Winter Soldier as a show is officially happening, as is the Scarlet Witch Vision show.
So excited.
Which now has a title, and it's crazy. It's just one word, WandaVision.
Yeah.
WandaVision. What are your guys' first reactions? And chat, I especially want to hear your guys' takes on this too, because this is such a weird title. What do you think of this show now that it's called WandaVision?
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of those celebrity names that they insist on putting together whenever celebrities get married.
It's a lazy one.
I know, but it's like, what was the one for?
Like, well, you got Bennifer was
Yeah,
really the first
exactly.
one.
Like that's what it reminds me of. So I'm kind of like, where are you going with this?
It's a ship name. It reads like a ship name.
Yeah.
I'll yell about Queek till the cows come home on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is my Quake Deke ship that I'm all about. But like that's a trend. But like WandaVision is just lazy, if that's the case.
I mean, I don't know if that's just what it feels like to me, which is very strange.
The only way I find that an acceptable title is a theory that will not come to fruition, but they are being forced to live in a TV show run by Mojo. So he already has Mojo Vision, and then he has a second channel, WandaVision. That's what I want to see. People in the chat hate the title. By the way.
My favorite here has to be where is it?
Well, yeah, and then people are saying, just how hard is it to call it Scarlet Witch and Vision, or as the comic books were always called, Vision and Scarlet Witch?
Yeah, exactly.
He usually got top billing.
GDS 481300. Put the bong down, Marvel.
So
nice.
It's a weird title. Part of me thinks maybe it's a placeholder that they'll like revamp later.
I hope.
But here's the one thing I do like about the title is it implies that there's going to be sort of like, it's going to be a weird show. It's not just going to be like oh, we're fighting bad guys because we both have powers and all that. I think this is going to get real weird. Kevin Feige was talking about it at the announcement. We like to take big swings at Marvel Studios. This story is definitely something unexpected and surprising, as well as something we can only do in a long-form series.
Oh my God, this just makes me want House of M more and more every time I hear this, because you can play with her reality altering powers, like
Hex powers, yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think you've got that, but you've also got like I think that they're gonna take a page. I think I've talked about it before from the recent Vision story. Now you're not gonna just redo that story because it's very specific to Vision being on his own. But like in that story, Vision uses his uses how good he is with computers and like build and all that stuff, and he creates 3 artificial intelligence like other Visions, which is a wife and 2 children.
Not weird at all.
And it's super weird, but it's also just like then the story is Vision like living in the suburbs with his family
of computer intelligence that he created.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they still like act like teenagers, and he acts like a wife, and they have marital problems, and like
Because he
they're
programmed it that
they're,
way.
Well, they're fully formed beings.
Right.
Like, he basically made artificial intelligences, and then just like, but they were set up in their dynamics with him. And I think in that her brain pattern is based on Wanda's, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
Much the way that Vision's, because in the comics, Ultron's brain pattern is based on Hank Pym's,
Right.
And then Vision's is based on Ultron's. So Vision is Hank Pym's grandson.
Not weird at all.
That's what I mean. Like the movies that play with that, with like Tony is like sort of Vision's like granddad.
Yeah,
They
I
just
guess
haven't,
so.
but like they haven't leaned into it. They haven't talked about that, which is one of my favorite things. Part of why I'm a big fan of Hank Pym is the Ultron like storyline and everything. And I love that Vision is like his grandkid. It's funny, and the Wasp has like some of her stuff in there as well. And so Wanda's brain patterns are used to build his wife.
Weird.
Super weird.
Wow.
Super weird. But I think you could get a really fun story out of the like suburban home life of Vision and the Scarlet Witch.
Can
and
you
like
imagine?
just like going to like maybe they're raising some young Avengers or something, maybe not, but like if they have to go to PTA meetings, like I would watch that show so hard.
When well, there's also precedent for this. When Wanda was pregnant with the twins that got retconned away, they did actually live in the suburbs in Leonia, New Jersey. They had a little community. They dealt with like the neighbors, and it's like, oh, there's the red-faced guy, because the Vision was red most of the time through the comics. So yeah, I think that the idea from what you're telling me, it's like, oh, that's obviously very important to him, and that's what he wants.
Yeah.
All the Vision wants is to live in the suburbs. Excuse me. Choked up by that.
was
Because
gonna say-
don't we all want to live in the suburbs? No,
Well,
but that's what the Vision wants.
Vision wants it wants to be normal. He wants to be human more than anything else. Like I think that's his driving force. Like over like yeah, he has like different paths and parts of his life, but like overall, I'd say that Vision's story is about being human,
Right.
and being accepted as human. And part of that is having the like, especially if you live in the United States, like having the classic like 2.5 kids and a white picket fence.
Yeah.
He even has a dog in that series.
Is it a Vision dog? Like he made
Yeah,
it? Oh, that's awesome.
Vision dog. It's been a while since I read those books. I just kicked over some stuff under the table. Huzzah! All right, but yeah, so that's gonna be a big thing. The What If show. Yeah, we got some more details on What If.
Really excited about that.
So what they did confirm is that it's going to be an animated show
Right.
officially. We went back and forth on what that was going to look like, and it is going to be set in the MCU for the most part. And the first episode, they only confirmed the first one. The first episode, you guys, I yelled on Twitter about this because I was freaking out, and none of you will be surprised when you hear it. The first episode is going to be what if Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers?
I just want to see a really swole Peggy Carter.
Yes.
Just like,
Oh, I'm so excited about this. Like the Exiles plot line where you have Peggy Carter, Captain America, and like in that version, she's got the shield and she's still got the tie underneath her uniform, but it's all the Cap suit. But there's still it's so cool. And as a big fan of Agent Carter, I'm excited to see more of this. No confirmation on whether they got Haley Atwell to do, or they're getting her to do the voice, but I can't imagine they wouldn't.
yeah.
I know some people were disappointed when they heard it was going to be animated,
Yeah.
but I would posit that I think this is better because you're going to be able to get. I think that like you do it animated and you can get Chris Evans to come in and do Steve Rogers' voice. Like it's way easier to get Chris Evans to come in and do 2 hours of voiceover work than it is for a week of filming.
Well, and I also think that it's going to be a little bit easier and a little bit cheaper because before Steve Rogers gets the serum, he's very skinny and Chris Evans is not. So
Yeah,
you would
there's-
then have that hurdle.
There's
So
a whole bunch
yeah.
of complications, not to mention like how far back do you go, and then what age is everybody, and like, live action has the other side of it. That you could do is you could cast new people in those roles, which
be
is
interesting.
which is also a like what if. It's a meta what if of like what if this person played
Yeah.
this role, which is fun. Like you can, and like maybe you do a little bit of that. I sort of hope Disney goes a little meta with some of these because if they don't do this now that they own all the X-Men properties again, if one of these episodes of What If doesn't have like some equivalent of what if Deadpool was at the Battle of Wakanda, like.
Oh my God. I want to
Like,
see that
yeah.
so bad.
It would like come on. It practically writes itself. Ryan Reynolds would 100% do it, and
Oh,
you literally
yes.
and like yeah, like if Deadpool comes into the MCU, that's a few years away at best. But you could do an animated half-hour episode where Deadpool is flipping around during that battle and like fights Thanos.
Oh, and dying multiple times. That would just make me so happy.
Yeah, Thanos punches him, breaks him in half, and then he's like, "What is happening?" When Deadpool like climbs back together.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Or like, what if Deadpool? Like, there's the what if Deadpool blank is just an infinite well
Just
of
have
possibility.
Deadpool in every story.
Yeah, an entire season of just all what if Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know?
or like you could animate like Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe kind
yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
I don't think you would do that. Disney Plus is a family channel and all that. But like, what if Deadpool got the Infinity Gauntlet and then he snaps? If Deadpool snaps and everyone is Deadpool,
That's
like,
what I thought.
like that's how I see that story ending. Is like Deadpool is like fighting Thanos. Deadpool like manages to get the Infinity Gauntlet by like one of the like crazy plot lines where like Doctor Strange opens a portal and cuts off Thanos' hand, like he cut off Thanos' soldier's hand at the beginning. All of these possible, but like Deadpool gets it, and then he's like, oh, and they're like, put it down, put it down. But there's so much possibility here.
But in terms of possibility, that it illustrates, no pun intended, why this works so well as an animated series, because you can do anything, and if you're even a generous television budget, you're definitely limited by what you can do. And if it's animated, you know, any of the things you said could happen, and some of them I think should happen.
I mean, look, animation also costs money. It's not this series is going to be super cheap, but obviously Disney is spending on Disney Plus, which, by the way, if those things are exciting to you, and you're like, oh, but I don't want to add another streaming service to all the things I already buy. I've got to get Hulu so I can watch my Runaways and Cloak and Dagger, and I got to get Netflix so I can watch any number of bajillion things. Disney Plus is only going to cost $6.99 a month. $6.99 a month, $7 a month, or even better, $69.99 for the whole year. Nice, first of all. Secondly, that's only $5.83 a month if you buy it yearly. That's crazy cheap.
That is not bad.
They said that Captain Marvel will be on the service at launch, so it'll be your exclusive streaming spot for Captain Marvel, and eventually all of the Marvel.
Yeah, the deal with Netflix has to expire.
So like a lot of them will be there at launch, not all of them. But over time they will be. This is in addition to all of the Star Wars films will be there at launch. They're doing The Mandalorian for Star Wars. They're doing all of The Simpsons. That's the freakiest one of all, is that every single episode of The Simpsons will be on Disney Plus. I don't know what to do with that information. My brain still can't handle it.
Star Drew, that means I can finally watch the episode. He's been bugging me about an episode that I think it was Stanley was in for about 6 months now, and I haven't watched it. So
well, there you go. You'll get in there.
we'll get it in there.
When it comes out on Disney Plus, November 12th. And so they've said November 12th is when Disney Plus will launch. They did not officially say if Falcon and Winter Soldier or WandaVision or What If will be launching with the service on November 12th, but expect it soon. And I expect most Marvel decisions are just waiting to be announced until after Endgame.
Yeah, I mean, I find it hard to imagine that at least one of those shows wouldn't be there when it launches. And I don't know if they'll do it weekly or they'll have it binge style, but I think they'll give you something in terms of this new exclusive Marvel content. And, you know, on November 11th, I will definitely pre-order the whole year. So I'll be all set for my $5.83.
I would bet you Falcon and Winter Soldier will be first up, but they probably haven't started filming yet because they don't want leaks. So that's the thing. Even if the writer's room is assembled, they're probably waiting to get anyone on set until after Endgame starts.
So we only have a week. Before we'll start seeing leak filming news.
Other news. I talked about it a little bit, but there was a rumor about a She-Hulk series that came out. Complete rumor.
Yeah.
Complete rumor. No necessarily like nothing, but like technically it's the same amount of reason we had to believe there was a Hawkeye series coming to Disney Plus. Like it's not any necessarily more like, or although I guess Hawkeye was like in some of the bigger trades, but either way, there's a rumor that a Bruce Banner and Jennifer Walters series together would be happening on Disney Plus in the future. I freaked out because She-Hulk is literally one of my dream shows.
And what's your premise? Because not everybody knows.
All right. Well, I don't want to I gotta keep it close to the vest. No. So if Bruce Banner's gonna be involved, it probably is like some way of passing the torch.
Sure.
One, you have to get Jennifer Walters to have the Hulk blood one way or another, whether it's she gets hurt and he has to save her life, or who knows. I want to see a comedy, like hour-long comedy series where it's Ally McBeal. It's single female lawyer, She-Hulk, running around in the MCU, solving, like, based on, like, basically if you look at the Charles Soule run from I think 2014. Great comedy, great just like filling in the legal weirdness of the Marvel universe. Like, she helps Hank Pym file a lawsuit against somebody else, like having shrink tech, and he's just like trying to protect them because they're gonna hurt somebody because they don't have it right. But he's trying, so he wants to buy out the company and like but there's like lawsuits, and so he has to go to She-Hulk for help. Let's go to Jennifer Walters, and that's my favorite part is like her being a lawyer, but also like having superpowers. So she gets embroiled in all this stuff, and like occasionally somebody will burst through her like office wall and she has to fight them, but like she's also still got a briefing to go to.
She has to Hulk out and then manage to bring it back in so she can go to her briefing.
She's got to be in court at 2, and Absorbing Man breaks through the wall at 1:30, so she's really got to get it wrapped up.
But it's stuff like that, and it's the fun of here's a character who has to like deal with being a known like powered person, while also but her goal is just to be a lawyer. She doesn't, that's like, whereas someone like Captain America has the powers and is like, I use these powers and I fight crime. I fight the bad things of the world. Yeah. Jennifer Walters is like, I want to fight the bad things, but I want to do it through the legal system because that's what I believe in. I believe in the law, and I believe in helping people via that law. She also can punch you across the state. Just those two things happen to be true. But that's what I love about that character, is the dichotomy there. And you could do a drama series. There have been drama books in the recent Hulk run with Jennifer Walters is very dramatic, very serious. But I like the silly version of that character more.
I loved, there was a John Byrne run of, it was, I believe, volume 2 of She-Hulk, where the whole thing, it was so out and out comedy that she was aware she was in a comic book. So there was a lot of like fourth wall breaking stuff. So if they go anything like that, I mean, whatever it is, I'm interested, but I would love to see that in particular.
Yeah, the meta version is interesting. It'd be interesting how it would be perceived in a Deadpool heavy like fan base. Right. Whether they would feel like they were, not that it is, but like whether people would see it like the non-comic readers as like a copycat type of thing. But I do love her. I love the meta-ness is also fun, even if it's not my favorite run on her stuff.
Sure.
Anyway, lots to talk about. We gotta talk about Shield. Shield. We know the name of Clark Gregg's character. It's Sarge. Doesn't help us at all.
No.
I finally sat down and like watched that clip that I didn't realize had been put out there after WonderCon, where May and Yo-Yo are like attacked in an explosion, and then Clark Gregg's new character Sarge like walks up, and there's a little bitty Shield intern who's there, and he's like, "But you're with Shield." Shield, never heard of it. And then he blasts him with some kind of space gun. I don't know. Could be like, my first thought was a Skrull. Like, based on this, I continue to think like it's a Skrull whose memories are messed up and he doesn't remember why he has this face.
That's what makes me. Well, I mean, not that I know any of what's happening in the series, but that made me think of that just because he has an alien gun.
Yeah,
it has to be Skrull.
It's not the Skrull gun from Captain Marvel, but it is an alien gun.
Well, I think season 6 will be the time for you to jump in.
That's what's going to happen, really.
Yeah, you can get caught up on the other 110 episodes at some other point.
Very cool stuff. And I was reading on pointed out that there are Shield logos on some of the trucks and stuff, like on the SUV.
Wow.
And it's like, is Shield a thing again?
I feel like it is. That's where I'm leaning. Yeah.
To me, it's sort of like I know it's the name of the show, and like it's how they all got together and all that, and like they'll do like we are the Shield, like every so often. Part of me is like, it's sort of like Fetch. Stop trying to make Shield happen. Like, you can still fight the bad guys, but Shield is dead. And I'll continue to watch. So change the name to Secret Warriors and keep the same cast, and we're all good. But like, it's sort of weird to be running around with the Shield logo when half the world thinks that Shield is Hydra. Anyway, The Gifted.
Oh, darn.
You gonna be okay? Do you want to talk about it with the audience?
The Gifted has been canceled officially. We won't see any more show from that property.
That means that I don't have to watch it anymore.
Yes, for those who don't know, Z and I host Marvel TV Weekly on Sundays, except for this Sunday. Happy Easter, and of course, Happy Passover as well. But that's not Sunday. In a week, yeah, I know. In a week, we will talk about it. Yeah, Zia not particularly a fan of the show. I love some of the characters on the show, so I'm disappointed that we never got to see it done right. But honestly, there was no indication that season 3 was going to be done right. So
Just stop making bad Marvel shows, please. Please.
Well, that's because you also don't like Cloak and Dagger and Runaways. So that's
Yeah.
possibly your bias coming through.
Well, bet.
I like those two shows a lot more than I liked The Gifted, but I saw so much potential, and I love the XMen universe, so it was definitely disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of these changes, like there have been a number of shows hitting the dust at this point, just because, like, look, when ownership changes, like stuff changes, and I can't. Disney's not going to keep an X-Men show around, like with the Marvel logo on it, because they're going to be bringing all that stuff back into the fold, and they're going to put it out as the way that they want to.
Right. I mean, if it was like a top 20 rated show, they'd be like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
we'll let it
like-
play out.
Like
But
Legion is still going to finish out its run. Like they're not like no more X-Men
Right.
stuff, but they're also like we're going to keep this stuff back.
yeah.
It's like we got to like how they're going to roll out X-Men to under Marvel Studios brand will be very interesting to see.
Yeah, and I think they don't know how they're going to do that yet. So,
Real quick, we got 2 minutes to 2. Let's see if we can fit in a real quick Doom's Question Corner from Sean. Sean asks, hey, Doom, who should play Nova in the MCU, and should he be an Avenger or a Guardian?
well, that answers the first part of my question. So we're talking male Nova from the 70s and also from New Warriors, not the Herald of Galactus, female Nova.
Well, it's any Nova. I think.
Okay.
Who like what Nova do you want? And like we'll just go around the horn real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. I will say the Nova that I expect to see in the MCU is Sam Alexander. Since the Nova Corps has been introduced,
Yes.
I think that it is very easy to introduce a young teenage boy whose dad became part of the Nova Corps.
Right.
And then just like launch him into space that way and build us and continue to build along with Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye series that's rumored, and like all of these younger characters that keep popping in, build up Young Avengers with Nova as one of the members. If you're gonna do a Nova movie.
I mean, I was just thinking that if they're going to do a Nova movie, they could have him fight alongside someone I know he has before. Christian, one of your favorite
Oh, I'm
characters.
glad you brought this up.
Speedball.
Yeah, because they should do it. Well, I mean, they were supposed to do a New Warriors show. I mean, it was announced like a year and a half ago. So, in theory, we could have gotten that. But I mean, was the question to Doom asking if we wanted to cast him or?
Well, yeah. Who would you want to play him? I said I don't have a person because I
agree
want
with-
the young one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with the young one, and that's what makes it really hard because I don't know actors at that level. You know. I
Well,
mean,
there aren't. You would want an unknown at
Yeah.
that because I don't have somebody because I want a young I want the young character. I don't know who I would want as the older Nova. You know what? Here's who I want to play so if Sam Alexander is a biracial because he's still a Latino kid, his mom's Latino. I want his dad to be Kit Harington.
Well, see, there you go.
Ooh.
Kit Harington
I
as
like.
the
Okay.
Nova, whatever his name is, like blank Alexander. I forget his name exactly. And then his kid Sam, Sam,
Nice.
takes over. Yeah, Kit Harington as Nova, but as a secondary character in that movie, as he passes on the mantle to his son. Anyway,
I like it.
That's gonna do it for Marvel movie news this week. Oh, we got so much stuff. One more week. We may be talking about Endgame next week, depending on how some stuff shakes out. We'll see what we're talking about. But join us tomorrow. Know that there will be no spoilers next week either, even if we are able to talk about the movie, if we're able to see it.
I'll just make you guys tell me everything.
Yeah. When the mics are off.
But
Yeah.
join us tomorrow afternoon at noon.
Pacific
time, and we are going to be watching Infinity War along with you guys. Until then, I'm Zach Wilson. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @ThatZachWilson, or follow my podcast, Ships in the Night, for some weird shipping stuff. Christian.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChristianDMZ. And tonight, over on AfterBuzz TV, will be the Season 2 finale of Star Trek Discovery. So find us at 10 p.m. Pacific over on AfterBuzz talking about a great Season 2 of Star Trek Discovery.
And I'm Zia Anderson. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Zia_land. It's XIA_land. And not this Sunday, but next Sunday, Marvel TV Weekly on AfterBuzz.
Thank you.
This has been Marvel Movie News. Stay fresh, stay spoiler free. We're almost there, you guys. We're so close. Endgame's right around the corner. Thanks for geeking out with us.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.